Good evening. Good evening, and welcome back. If you are here, you have made it to Friday. So, congratulations, the weekend is upon you. However, you guys know Monday will be right back. So, I will be in and out trying to give you guys some information and some importance of some extremely important things regarding moving abroad and the importance of building community. I think if you aren't new here, you have seen so many different people echo the same sentiments when it comes to community and building community abroad, what that looks like. You have heard this from people that just started their journey. You have heard this from people that I would say have been in it 3 to 5 years, as well as people that have actually been living abroad for over 10 years. They all understand what you may be questioning when it comes to what community could look like abroad. And what I tell people is that you need to be open. Now, different communities, and depending on where you guys may be ended up looking to move, these communities are going to look different. There is no one size fit all of what the community is going to offer you. Some communities do get together often. Some communities have, depending on where you are, maybe a bunch of different sub communities. I know in Medellin, they have so many different categories. If you like to play basketball, if you like pickleball, if you like arts, these things are consistently being built up. And I tell you that as you go around the world, or at least as you are in the research stage, you are going to see disparities in some communities where you see robustness in others. Now, I tell you that this is going to be important because some people may have places on their radar that do not have established communities that are open. And this can be both expat and local. Because ideally, what you're looking to find are communities that can help you have an easier process in moving abroad. And what happens here, not here, but what happens in the United States is that we have gotten relatively far away from the importance of community and how that will help you, never mind just moving abroad, but even more so in general, in life. You know, depending on how old you are, you may remember. I feel like the people that are usually watching my conversations or even listening, they're old enough to remember when community looked a certain way. There were neighborhoods where, you used to go outside, and if you were doing something wrong, your neighbor would be like, stop doing that. And you would probably stop doing that because you knew your neighbor, knew your mother or your father, and you had respect for your elders. And this isn't a respect thing, but more so how the community operated uh, in the United States at one point. Nowadays, kids don't go outside. Families aren't getting together as much. I know that for a fact, thinking it was just my family, but I saw the other day where it was just like the number of family reunions is significantly down in the United States. And I know that to be a fact in my family. But shout out to those guys. Shout out to my family. He actually went this year for the first time in a while, was able to get some the family members together to go to Punta Cana, Dominican Republic. However, I will say that so many people in the United States don't have that anymore. They're not going to the family reunions. The cookouts are happening a lot less frequently, and you kind of miss out. You know, with American capitalism, you have to realize that the what about us and building with each other thing, it tends to get lost often living in America. And when you go abroad, you may be still having some of that American not looking for community aspect on you, and you have to realize that community is going to be one of your biggest lifelines. um And I tell you this because I've seen it actually work in person. We were on the other day, and Miss Chalet and I were able to discuss a time where, somebody had a peanut allergy, came to Medellin, did not speak English, did not even know how to say I'm allergic to peanuts, never mind not knowing what the emergency number was. And the community, in the middle of the night, I think it was like 2 3 in the morning, he reached out, said, I'm having a medical emergency, can somebody help me? I am here. Somebody actually came and helped him. And I really appreciate not only community in general, but the Medellin community, because it wasn't somebody he knew that helped him. And when you talk about community and wanting to build and being open to build with others, I will tell you, when I first got to Medellin, there the community and the WhatsApp groups that were there, they were interesting. Specifically when it comes down to Black folks, we were in communities that may not be safe to have certain conversations. So after months of being there and seeing things unfold, some people decided to put something together that was for us, that we could commune with not only each other but other people that are in the diaspora, that are part of Medellin. Like, that was important to us, and you'd be surprised how important that is to so many other people that actually go about living abroad and moving to certain places. So when we were putting this together, we wanted a place where it was going to be a safe space for us to be able to communicate, wanted to be able to get resources and get information should you just get here and not know where to start. If you needed help with finding somebody that could help with the visa, or realtors to find a house, we didn't want it to be this scattered thing, because we knew just how difficult it was. And considering what we had left, we were thinking that a lot of people like us would be also looking to land in where we were. And the opportunity to build that community is not something that everybody is going to take on. But what I will tell you is, at least the being a part of it is an extremely beneficial process to you. And I mean, being a part of it, being in the WhatsApp community, going to some of the events, meeting different people. These things will help you get over things that are inevitable. Uh, some people don't understand that you are still you, no matter where you end up going in the world. And things will go on. Your family and your friends that you've left in the United States, they're still going to get together. They're still going to go do things that at this point don't involve you anymore. And I was telling somebody, like, the difference between you living in a different state, in a different country, could be thousands of miles, could be a different time zone. And what you find is many people abroad are in that exact same scenario. So find kindred spirit with somebody that's going through the same things, but not in a woe is me way, but, well, it's Christmas and we're here and we're not with our families, let's do something. Let's all cook like how we used to. Those things came about so many times living abroad in Colombia and Medellin. Never mind even things that we were watching together all around the world. At least the people that were interested in it. Because the night that the presidential election happened, we all went to this. Shout out to Tim and Lorelis, the Skybox, and we all watched the presidential election results, see what was going to happen, and we all saw what happened. But it was, I guess it was better than watching it at home alone in Colombia. It was like, okay, we are not going to change what happened, but at least I'm not the only one seeing this, because I was like, seriously. And Tim came about, and I think it started a happy hour, and then it had stopped. And then once he saw what was going on, he started the happy hour back up, because he understood. And if you were somewhere by yourself during that time, you might not have had what so many of us were able to have, but it was because the community was there to support each other. And so many of you guys are in a scenario where you're looking to move abroad. I don't know if you're an extrovert and introvert and outroverted, introvert and extroverted. I don't know. But what I will tell you is that you should not be closed off. I know in America it is really easy and probably best and oftentimes to be closed off. You know, Drake said no new friends, and people really stuck with that. And that may work for you in the United States. But when you do leave, some of those things I tell you about, which is shedding what you expect and expectations in the United States, what is cool and comfortable in the United States may not be cool or comfortable living abroad. If you are an introvert, that is perfectly fine. However, that spirit will help will not help you, will hinder you from your probability of success being high if you go over and you don't get to know anyone. You got to realize, I can't speak for anywhere else, but at least in Colombia, people will talk to you. You'd be surprised. I was walking down the street one day, and I'm just walking to the store, and a guy in a car pulls over and he starts asking me for directions. Now, I don't look like the average Colombian. I'm also not dressed like the average Colombian, but in Colombia, if somebody might talk to you and ask you a question. Now, that may not be somebody that ends up being part of your community. I'm not saying like that, but I have had scenarios where I went out to a comedy show and was just sitting there and was talking to, was speaking to one of my friends, and a guy overheard me. He's like, "Oh, you're speaking English, man. I haven't heard English in a while." I'm like, "Oh, where you from?" He's like, "Oh, I'm from New Jersey, but I moved out here. I'm Colombian, but I've been in New Jersey." Shout out to Adrian. He ended up having his mom and his dad there with them, and they didn't speak any English. Like if they did, could maybe a couple of words. And we started talking. And he was like, "Man, we're going on a Shiva with my family, and the Shiva is a party bus, and you guys have to come." And I'm like, "Okay, like let's go." So we ended up going, and realistically, we were the only Americans. Ended up being like four of us that were like from the States, and then like 45 people on the Shiva. And all of them were Colombians, and all of them were family. And they were using their English. One uncle was so happy to have seen us and talked to us and enjoying and wanted to know where we were from. And it was my first time ever on a Shiva, and it was around Christmas time. Anybody knows that Christmas in Colombia is amazing. And so everything is lit up. Man, we went on a Sunday, which do not go to a Shiva on a Sunday if you have to work on a Monday, because it was outrageous. The grandmom or the mom was popping bottles, the little fireball shots. Like it was so much fun. And I was like, I wouldn't have had this experience if somebody didn't invite me, but I was open just from somebody sitting next to me, even to have a conversation. And so many of you guys go out and it's like, don't talk to me. I don't know you. And it's just like, I get it there, but you have to be open to being able to lower your drawbridge and say, okay, don't say throw all will and go with anybody and just do anything. I'm not saying that. You still need to be smart so you can be safe. But you're meeting people, whether it's expats or locals, and you can converse with them. Go with the conversation. Don't be so closed off. Think about a place like Colombia where people are walking down the street and saying, "Hello, how are you?" And they don't know you, but the common courtesy is to say, "I'm doing great. How are you?" And you could just keep walking and they'll keep walking. But even that is missed in the United States, and we often forget that. And we realize I keep telling so many people, and it's even harped on the Americans because I feel like we often forget that with all of the weird stuff that goes on in America. But I see it for eyeball value outside, and I'm like, we forget in America that we are only here to be with each other. Y'all realize that, right? It's not to get money. It's not to pull up with a bag of anything. It's literally to be here with each other. And it's extremely easy to get past that when you're not in a scenario to even focus on you, never mind focusing on anybody else. But it's such an important thing to understand that the things that go into your relocation, I'm looking to move abroad bag, the book bag I keep telling y'all to pack y'all items, it's your openness for community. That right there could actually be a lifeline. Think about, you got it all together. You DIY'd it. Let's say you did it all yourself, but then you run into a snag. Who are you going to ask? You going to call your family that hasn't ever left and had to apply for an immigration visa? You're going to chat GPT it and cross your fingers and wish for well? I tell black people specifically, like, we all understand the words hookup. And we all understand that, like, you'd be surprised when you start talking to somebody. It's like, you actually know a lot of people that I know, but we've never met. When you put that scope and that lens onto the black travel community, what happens is you like, this place is even smaller than what I thought. Most of the people on Black Travel either know each other or know all of the people around each other, so they almost know each other. So it's like if you go and if I was to go and to go to Panama, I know somebody in Panama. If I was to go to South Africa, I know somebody in South Africa. If I was to go to Ghana, I know of my homeboy that he just moved, but he spent 3 years in Ghana, so he's got folks on the ground that he can put me in contact with. I've got a cousin, two cousins that just moved to Thailand. This is all within my reach. Never mind that if you were connected to somebody like me that is a traveler and is a part of the black travel community, I can be like, oh yeah, I have somebody that's on the ground that will actually be able to help you and not run off, or at least even give you like, you want to go get something to eat? You want to go, like, I can show you where to go get good food at. You'd be surprised how much that is important to your journey and whether or not you're going to have success with moving abroad. People are going abroad and saying, I'm lonely. You scared to go outside? You don't think people are outside unless you move to somewhere. You move to what, Yemen or something? And I'm sure people in Yemen go outside and do stuff. Like, where did you go? What research did you do actually to put into this? Because one of the biggest things I tell you is do not be a Christopher Columbus, thinking that you're just going to go sight unseen, thinking that you're just going to run into something and it's going to be the best ever. I tell you at this point, there's not many places that you can go when you look to move abroad that nobody's ever gone. And if you do find them, you're going to have to be a hell of an individual to want to take all of that on. So I know you've been taught to, you're on your own and you can do it on yourself. And if it's not outside of inside of this square, then I don't want to hear it. It's just me and my square. I get that there. But you have to understand where you're going, and where you're going is the rest of the world. Yes, there is a beautiful encapsulated bubble in the United States. It looks like a snow globe. It's so beautiful. But the people, if you get down to the nitty gritty and look inside the snow globe and talk to the people there, all of them looking to escape the snow globe. Yet you have to realize that life outside the snow globe is completely different than the United States. Some ways, so much better. In other ways, it's not worse, it's just a different challenge. Some things may be different. But you have to understand that if you are looking to move abroad, you have to give up what American culture has bred. I'm only isolated to myself. I'm not looking to help my neighbor. If something happens to my neighbor and it doesn't happen to my house, then that's on my neighbor. That is what it is that we've taught. Look at outside, look on the news. That's what you guys are doing right now. And I'm telling you that communities may not have all of stuff and things, but they're going to care about their neighbor. And there's communities in the United States, they're like, you're trying to arrest my neighbor or you're doing something illegal to my neighbor. No. But the number of communities and the number of people, I tell you that you will see more people saying, no, we're not going to stand for this, or no, we're not going to let somebody not know. And you'll go into different places. And that's why I tell you to kind of move around. If you can go from 10 expat destinations down to three, go see what it's like. Go spend some time in these places. Because if you get there and you're like asking somebody, like, hey, so where you guys, like, what's the neighborhoods around here? And they're like, well, I live on the other side of the highway. Yeah, what's the neighborhood called? It's like, well, it's a nice spot. And it's like, it's what is the neighborhood called, ma'am or sir? Like, you'd be surprised how difficult it could possibly be to get bare information out. the difficult how it could be to find out like, hey, I the only thing I know is the expensive grocery store. There's got to be some other grocery stores or a local market where everybody's going. You'd be surprised in other communities, they may not offer that information or may not be open. You also be surprised that some people didn't hear my call. They didn't hear my conversation when I told them not to take America with them. Some people have already built communities where it's like, all y'all do is party. All y'all do is turn up with each other. That's it. You might as well be in Atlanta. Everybody's just partying and buying sections and bottles. Like, I didn't move abroad to do what I've done 10 years ago when it was still cool to do. I'm almost 40 years old. I have no idea how you are, but Lord willing, I'll make it to 40. I'm 38. How you going to put yourself in a scenario where if that's not your appetite, but you're going to go there based off of something on TikTok or YouTube or whatever the case is? Wrap your head around this. At the age that most of you guys are, not even a retirement age. I'm not about to retire. I'm at an age where I've been going for 3 years. So you have to really consider this. And I'm starting to see younger people even looking to move now. My nephew just turned, he about to turn 19 and said, I'm trying to get out the United States. I said, yo, did you just graduate from high school? You just got into the workforce. You already ready to go. I said, I gotta call you and talk to you because what is going on in the United States where you graduated in June and by August you saying I'm ready to get out of the United States, and I'm like, man, it's hitting them fast. It's tough. I get it. And I need y'all to understand that what is waiting for you, it is actually what is a return. It could be a return to what it is that you remember. I told y'all remember going to grandma's house, y'all remember the cookouts, you remember what summer fun and block parties felt like. These things are still happening. They might be happening in a different language, and the rhythm might be a little faster. You might need more steps instead of just two steps. You might need a couple more steps. I'm still working on that, so don't be alarmed. But these things are like you don't even understand. And a lot of people are basing moving abroad off of TikTok and what somebody else did. They're basing that feeling on when they got to vacation in somewhere. And hopefully it's not only just on a resort, but even you guys that have only been to resorts abroad, you guys can understand that feeling when you're at the resort and the weather's nice and you're like, man, for the next 4 days, I don't have to worry about anything at home, and you're like the food just tastes better and fresher, and it's like you're only eating resort food and the food tastes better. Imagine if you were eating real food that wasn't just catered to like a Euro palate. Imagine. But these things are realistically seen. Once you get on the ground, you start realizing that you're going to have friends that may not speak your language as their first language, or they may not speak English, period. I've got friends that I've met. I started coming in to Cartagena in 2017. Literally, my boy Alex, and most people who have traveled with us definitely know Alex. Alex speaks a little bit of English now, a lot more than he used to. But for a while, Alex did not speak any Spanish, I mean English, and I did not speak a lot of Spanish. But everybody knows him. My mother, my father, my brothers, my cousins, like everybody has met him over the years, and these things are so impactful when it comes down to you as a human being on this world. I've been to Alex's house. I've met his wife and his daughter. I mean, his daughter, his son. They have come to my house and stayed with me in Medellin. Like I literally, and this is a person whose first language isn't English, and he doesn't even speak fluent English, but this is the reality of what life can be like. No, I'm not saying that you're gonna go find your best friend or all of the people that you meet abroad you can trust. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you have to be open in a way that doesn't allow you to be open in the United States. You still have to be smart and navigate, but the understanding of community and friendship, it gets a little bit more reignited when you move abroad versus being stuck in America expecting you not to even look at your neighbor and think that you should care about them. It's like as long as I'm good, I can care less, and that should not be how it is. As I mentioned, we are only here to be with each other. I'm gonna make sure y'all realize that. I'm gonna make sure y'all realize that. I tell y'all one thing that y'all always, because y'all always asking me about the gringo tax, and I told y'all yesterday, you might need somebody to have a conversation for you. And you'd be surprised once you meet people of the community that are local language people, you can always get a more fair and efficient price. And there are so many things I tell people that when you get into having friends from other countries that you are exchanging, that I think the value of that also gets lost in translation with the whole move abroad process. Because some people might say, well, I've got money and they don't have any money, so it's just going to be transactional. And I will tell you that, yes, there are those kinds of relationships, and you do need to be able to either steer away from them or navigate them successfully. But what I will tell you is never mind any money. You have learned something in America that people don't learn, or learned a skill that people don't learn. Yet I have met people abroad that are educated and have their skills, but are able to teach me things that I haven't been taught. And we're able to meet in the middle and start learning from each other, sharing knowledge, education, and resources to where it's like, oh, we can get this done together. And now we're crossing international boundaries. Some of those can even be language barriers, just to be able to meet in the middle and make something happen. The words community has to mean something to you in order for you to move abroad. Because if it does not, then you will not have success. You can't just do this and do this by yourself. It doesn't even come down to just language. It's so many nuances that come into the move abroad process that I have hopefully been trying to break down for you, that lets you know that it's not just packing your things and throwing a dart on the board at a map and saying, let me go land here because they said it was $200 houses per month. Like, it's so much more than that. Even if that is true, these things have to be navigated correctly. Now, a lot of people aren't realizing that I am not endorsed by anybody when I say this, but it's factual. Your first steps to finding community abroad is going to be this. I'm gonna give you some two heads up, because I know, depends on who you are, you might not know. First thing you're gonna do, if you don't already have one, and I don't want to hear any back talk about, well, I don't want to be on it, but you can't get this information anywhere else. It just doesn't work, because the community aspect is not something that you can really like filter. You need to get back onto Facebook. Now, if you tell me there's another community place that, or what you're calling, but I've looked. But Facebook is a legitimate place that you are going to be able to put in, enter your expat destination and put in expats in here. Expats in Playa del Carmen, expats in Medellin, Colombia, expats in here. If you want to go where the black people are, black expats in here, black expats in this. Do that. Get back on Facebook and do that. And make sure you have a profile picture, because you cannot be a ghost. People will be like, this looks like spam, so I'm not going to let them in the group. Be a person. But what you're going to be doing once you get in is literally just sitting there watching. Just start watching. You're going to start seeing people post certain things, different information. Might see some realtors in there. You might see some community events that are going on. You might see some questions that come up that might be questions that you have, but you're just watching. You start right there. There, you're going to be able to get free information. Now, don't get me wrong, because it's just people. So you still have to think about who is giving you certain things, but you can kind of put your finger into the community and like, let me see what the temperature is here. Let me see how hot or cold it is. Is this an active community? What are they doing? And then one thing that a lot of Americans don't know, unless they are used to either traveling, they have family or friends that are abroad, the majority of the actual communities thrive not on Facebook. It's actually on WhatsApp. WhatsApp is used so much to the point where it's like, because I'm like, if a place, because I don't make international calls, so I'm like, if a place does not have a business does not have a WhatsApp, they're probably like not getting a lot of business. Everybody has WhatsApp. You might have heard of it, you might not, but it is a media platform where you are able to call, message, create groups, communities, subgroups in them. These things are important to know because you might not even heard of WhatsApp or might not even realize that that is that important. However, the thing about WhatsApp is you can't go online and search for a community. You got to know what the link is. But the only way you're going to get to the link is if you get into the Facebook group. But the only way you're going to get into the Facebook group is if you're on Facebook. Once you get on Facebook, you can get into the Facebook group, and then you can possibly, depending on what you're seeing, start either asking, and somebody say, "Yeah, I'll private message you." The the Facebook community, I mean the WhatsApp community. And then you're able to get in, and there you have, oh well, it's 400 people in this community that it was only 200 people in the one on Facebook. Everybody's gonna go here and eat to this week. They like go out and eat together. It's a sign up sheet for, I think in Medellin, there's been sign up sheets for the hip hop party bus. There's been sign up sheets for a spades tournament. I think they went for a day trip to like a day spa. Like people are getting together and doing these things. But if you either aren't invited by somebody, or well shoot, if you're not invited by somebody, you can't just go on the internet and put it in. Can't go on YouTube and put that in and search for it. But that's where the action is. So I'm giving y'all like a heads up, like how you get to being able to get filtered in. Like I have brung in so many people as well as the other admins in the Black and Medellin chat over the last year and a half or so. It's probably been a little bit longer than that because they're like, I wish I would have known about this. I've been here for 2 months and didn't know that anybody else was here. I've ran into so many Morehouse brothers that I didn't even know they were in the city. It's a big city, but they're here. And it's just like being able to find these hubs and these places for networking and community is going to be your 100% biggest lifeline in your success, in your opportunity to figure out, can I do this? Is this going to work? They'll give you answers. If you have gotten it down to 3 neighborhoods, you might have gotten in Medellin, you could be like, oh, I want to live in either Poblado, Laureles, or Envigado. Well, the thing about Poblado is you can live like in Ciudad del Rio, I think it's Las Palmas. You could live in Mila de Oro. That's all still Poblado. And all of those neighborhoods are completely different. How do you get to that figure out part without having to do it all on your own? I know. Bob Vila said you can be DIY. All you need to just do is watch this video. I'm telling you, you can't do it on your own because eventually, even if you get your visa, you're going to come and ask somebody for questions. So that should tell you right there, how can I get this? Well, where's this place at? You obviously need somebody. Even the DIYers are coming back and asking, well, I messed up on this. And that's always the funniest one. I got this and I did my own visa and then I messed up on this part, but this translation is weird, and I don't know what they want me to send back. And then they're asking me, and I'm like, yeah, so I told you that I don't do my own visas. I have the lawyer, he does them because I don't have the time to be a visa expert. The thing changes every couple of months. Like, who has the time? That's not my job. I don't have the time. If you have the time, go for it. If that is a part of your job and your career, go for it. But if it's not, I don't recommend to go for it. You guys spend a lot of money in the United States. Most of them, if they're not being unfair to you, because I've heard crazy prices to work with the lawyer and it's not usually that expensive, then it makes more sense. It's better your time than better your money to go ahead and take care of it conveniently than to become quote unquote expert or even just somebody that can fill out the paperwork and then run into a bunch of bumps and then now the paperwork still ain't filled out. You spend a bunch of time, and time is money no matter what country you're in. So I tell you guys, make certain that you are understanding of this. Somebody asked, is it possible to find Afro descendant or Afro diaspora communities abroad. 1,000,000%. 1,000,000%. However, depending on where you go, that is going to look different. I cannot make any blanket statements here tonight with what that will look like for you. But what I will tell you is that it will definitely be available depending on where you go. The best thing I will say is Black people are everywhere. Now, the communities that are open, I tell you, Medellin is such an amazing city. There are big expat communities, there are Afro-Colombian communities, there are so many different things you can get into. One of the groups in Medellin that does a really great job of doing things for the Afro Colombian community, giving space for Afro X people of all over the world to be able to collaborate, work with, get learn from, just even commune with. Is Origin and Culture. That, like I said, they do a great job at creating space and opportunities for people. Anybody that comes to Medellin, I'm like, hey, if you're there on Thursday, you need to go to this. If they got any events going, go to them because that will give you, like, all of us go, and then we have so many friends that we've met through that community that are now like people that we hang out with and go get something to eat with. And it takes those kind of pillars and people in the community from both the expats that are living over there as well as the local Afro community to be able to come together and put those resources together, put these opportunities to break bread with each other, show people certain things and customs and language, understanding of the culture and the similarities that we have with each other. I think that is such a powerful thing about moving abroad that we are not able to experience. So many people online are thinking that Black people are just in America. I remember when I first got to Colombia and I was at one of the Origin and Culture events and I took a picture or a video and people were like, why is there so many Black people in the room? And I'm like, what are you talking about? They're like, yeah, yeah, yeah. There's a lot of Black people. They're all Americans. And I'm like, I'm actually like, maybe there's only three of us total, it's 30 people in here. They're like, they look like us. And I'm like, what are you talking about? But that is where the American education only stops. We don't realize that every Black American that is a part was a part of the slavery scenario. They were the last people. The slavery scenario started way earlier than what it got position into with America, and then you have places like Colombia, Brazil, the entire Caribbean, where these things were being done for so long before the people that became into the United States were actually brought there. Like, so we're kind of like the last of slavery. We're not the beginning of it. And more people that are getting abroad for the first time, seeing what it is, and you seeing how close they are still to traditions that we may not remember, but still feel so unique and similar to something that we've done with our family and friends back at home. And it's such a beautiful sight to see. And I think for Black people that are looking to move abroad, I tell you, that is one of the biggest things if you go with intention. Now, I tell you, if you have places that aren't natively or of the diaspora, then you may have a tougher time getting that outside of an expat community. Whereas if you are going to places like Panama, or you're going to places like Belize, or you're going to places like Colombia, these things are accessible depending on how much thirst and appetite that you have for them. But they will, I tell you, they are some of the most beautiful experiences from a community aspect, from a who you are aspect, what makes you you. It makes you look at the entire global diaspora in a different way, like an opportunity to learn what your head forgot, but your spirit remembers. These things are so powerful to people that look like us. I get so many people booking Cartagena and they're like, oh, I'm going to Cartagena. And I'm like, listen, I can hear on the phone, you are a person of the diaspora. I tell you to go all the way to Colombia and not and go to Cartagena and not to go up to a place like Palenque, the first free town in all of the in all of the Americas for Africans. This place was free before the United States became the United States. These things are reality that we need to go about uncovering, and it's hidden hidden treasures of our community. We were just the last people, guys. So I need y'all to understand that community is something that has already been positioned in our soul. We remember it when we were younger and it used to be more community based. You think that when you get abroad that that's just going to be the same thing that you've experienced in the United States? It could be, if you are in a position to have your drawbridge is high and you don't want to talk to anybody, you're not looking to meet anybody. But if you're able to lower your drawbridges, maybe learn a little language, maybe try some new foods, go somewhere and you be the only English speaker, you'll be surprised. You're not only speaking English, but you're like, they may not speak English, but you're like, yo, I know what they're saying. I've seen this before. I can feel the energy. And that part is going to wake you up to saying, okay, I need to learn what they're saying. But also, it's like, this feels familiar. And that right there can quell some of that homesickness that people may be looking at when they're moving abroad, quell some of that opportunity to feel like, well, maybe I should just go home because I'm not really having any fun. Well, you're probably not going to have any fun in a new country and a new culture, and you have nobody to say, hey, you want to go here? Because I know where to go and how to get there and how to navigate. One of the things I appreciate the homie Miss Chalet for doing, because she takes people on the fruit and market tour, and I think that is important from two perspectives. One, you can definitely get some great groceries there for way cheaper than you're going to get at Corulla in Colombia. But the second thing is you can see her navigating, talking to the local vendors, using her Spanish. Sometimes it sounds perfect. Sometimes she might say something and then be like, oh no, I meant to say this. And then, but it's just, it shows you what somebody that is willing to get out here and not only do it because this is how I'm going to be successful, but show other people how to be successful. I think that is such an important part of what the community that I have seen and been a part of is that you have so many people that are willing to go out of their way to help. They're willing to go out of their way and say, you know what, I'm going to save this. So anytime somebody asks, my boy Dave, anytime somebody asks about getting rental scam, he got like a whole script. He's like, here you go. And we actually got a group to help you find rental people that aren't going to be scamming you. And it's like, you may not get that everywhere, but you need it. And you can only get an understanding of what this looks like if you start following some of these things. You get on Facebook, or you at least go right to the source. Jump in with me and say, hey, I'm coming to Medellin next week, or I'm here, or I'm on my way at the airport. Would love to get into the community so I can understand what may be going on that week. No problem. Gladly. We want the community to build because you might have a resource or you may have some knowledge or information that somebody else doesn't have and they need that we don't have. And we are able to give you all of the information and the resources and the knowledge that we have. Nobody's looking to take from you that is a part of the community. What we're looking to do is build a community so that so many of us didn't have these safety nets to land on, these opportunities to feel like we are supporting each other in a way where it's not just my success, it's our success. You start to see more, especially as an American looking back into America, how important these things are when everything is so divisive in the United States. You either a blue or you're red. You are a conservative, you're a liberal. You are this or you are that. You either think it's this way or people should be this way. It's a what side of the line you are on in so many ways. And don't saying that these things don't exist on the other side of TSA. What I'm saying is, despite the noise, people are willing to fight through it and fight for what it is that they're looking for: humanity, community, the opportunity to build with each other and say, I've got something to bring to the table. And you, where you are in America, you have something to bring to the table. The community can always use positive people that are looking to learn, looking to build with each other. some of the things and people that I've let in, I think it's dope because I'll go and say like, okay, I'll approve this person, and the person will get in, and the first day they're like, hey, I'm so and so, and I'm here, and I just got here, but I'm looking to meet everybody, and I love to see what everybody's doing. And then other people, they might have been there for a month, and now they're like, I've been able to put this together, and now the community has these things that are available, and it's like, this is why we did this. People are leaving America with skills, with resources, not understanding that value is actually in these things and not, well, how much money do you make or what kind of clothes do you have on your back? It's about like, how can we build with each other? And by building with each other, what can we get accomplished together? I've seen that come together so many times. The people that you've seen me on these podcasts with, these are all people open to build with each other. The things that I'm doing is crossing borders, international borders, coast, uh, um, international waters. Like, we are places in Africa right now, and it's just like, this is only because of what I'm telling you here tonight. Community is your way out of the United States. It is going to be your sustainability to stay out of the United States. You're going to need a hookup. I guarantee it. As long as my name is RJ, you can guarantee that community is going to be what it is that you need. But it's about what you are going to do with the opportunity to commune. Do you sit here with your guardrails up and don't want to talk to anybody? Aren't willing to bring what you have to the table of the community? Are you going to take that shiesty behavior and that cutthroat behavior? And if I get it first and nobody else does, then that's on them. I stay and tell you to stay where you are. We actually don't need that. Not the local community, not the expat community, not any community. That is a very American mindset. And what I need you guys to realize is your mindset is going to shift if you do it the right way, but it will shift in a way where you are reset and understanding that the only reason we are here is for each other. That's the only reason we're here on this earth. Once you understand that, we are going to go a lot further, and you guys are going to go and feel a lot happier in just your quality of life. Never mind what you are able to accomplish as an individual. These things are so important, and I really hope you guys definitely understood that tonight. We are going on 47, 48 minutes. It has been a pleasure. Usually I go about an hour, but it is Friday. I want y'all to go out, have a good time, enjoy yourself, go commune with somebody. Maybe you meet a new friend tonight. Maybe you meet somebody that lives abroad and just happen to be still in the United States. And you reference this conversation. Who knows? What I want you to do though is, if this is for you, make sure you are following. You guys need to be on Black Expat Life Abroad. That is where all of these conversations live. Those things are always going to be available to you. You can watch them at any point. We are now going close to over 190 videos. So thank you guys for always sharing these things, but you do need to continue sharing. If you know somebody that is looking to move abroad and they're like, where do I start? What do I do? I have covered so many topics. I have so many more things that are coming for you. The new website is, I was told, it's 95% done. So hopefully by next week, we'll be giving you guys some information on how to get connected in Colombia and Mexico and Panama and South Africa, some of the top places in the world for Black people that are looking to move abroad. I'm excited to have built this community. I'm excited to have built this platform for the people that look like me. I want y'all to make certain that you are doing something that is going to put a smile on your face. So one thing you can do is make sure you are sharing this, and then two, make sure that this weekend you are staying safe, and make sure you come back on Monday. I will be right back here. Make sure you're back here around about 6 o'clock p.m. Daylight saving time is coming soon, so there will be an adjustment in the schedule. But until then, I will see you guys. If you need me, make sure you guys go to Black Expat Life Abroad. Jump in the comments. Let me know what you guys may want to talk about or hear about. You guys can also go to moodtravelcolumbia.com. That is two O's in mood, two O's in Columbia. There you will find information on relocation. You can take the mood test. We narrow down which of these Colombian cities you may be interested in. You can also get free resources, get connected with our experts, as well as go on there and sign up for our video on demand. There's over 6.5 hours of relocation content for you that's on demand. All you got to do is access it. MoodTravelColombia.com, two O's in Mood, two O's in Colombia. My name is RJ. It has been a pleasure on a Friday. I will see you guys on Monday with some more exciting information about how you can get the hell out of the United States